What a lovely day. Social anxiety isn't a personality flaw, it's a physiological response and it can be hacked. A while ago I was at a work event and I was surprised with a speech. Not like somebody gave me a speech, I had to give a speech. Somebody just called my name and I had to get up on stage and talk. I wasn't prepared and I was really freaked out and yeah, in fact I think I froze for a little bit. But nobody noticed and I got through it, and I think it's because of this technique that I'm going to show you in this video. So if you've ever felt your brain freeze up during a social situation or a conversation, I really think this secret breathing technique is going to be the game changer you've been looking for. This video is sponsored by Myota. More on them later. So why do most anxiety techniques fail? Well, I think it's because most anxiety techniques, they're just very impractical. If you're speaking to somebody and that sort of anxiety builds up and it starts to come in, you can't just close your eyes and meditate in front of them. That'd be so weird. You see, it's not even in your own head. It's your body's nervous system's response to perceived threats, to potential danger that's really not even there. And there are certain things that work well. Like I found CBD worked quite well, but I had to take it at the beginning and it kind of dulled me a little bit for the entire event or the entire social situation. And I know some people like exposure therapy, but I hate that. Like, it never made me feel better, like just putting myself in the bad situation and just learning to deal with it. I suppose if you have to, you can do, but I don't have to. So if there's a different way I can manage the anxiety just when I need to, I opted for that. So it's my personal opinion that the key is to finding something that works in real time when you need the assistance, when you need the help, and maybe more importantly, something that's discreet. You know, that other people won't even realize you're doing it. So your breath directly influences your nervous system. Specifically something called the vagal tone. Something to do with the vagus nerve. I'll put that on the screen somewhere so it will explain it better than I can now because I'm trying to remember. When you're anxious, when you're nervous, your body enters fight or flight mode, which makes rational thinking, I wouldn't say impossible, but it makes it very hard. It's very difficult to think clearly when you're stressed, when you're anxious. And by manipulating your breath pattern, you can effectively override this system. So with many things like this, there is a psychosomatic kind of placebo-y effect, like your mind makes something real. But it's not really pseudoscience because it's based on decades of research into the parasympathetic nervous system. So I suppose the best part is that it works whether you believe in it or not, because it's not a mental exercise, it's a physiological hack. Wearing a beanie hat was not a good choice today. Whew, sweaty. I'll give you an example of when I used it. So like I mentioned earlier, I was at this work party, okay? And it was a member of my team, somebody that I managed, was getting an award. And I wasn't supposed to give a speech or anything. They were just gonna be called out by someone else, get up and talk. And I had no idea, I had nothing prepared. It freaked me out. And of course, when they say your name and you're not expecting it, you hear it, but there's that split second where you're like, and you sort of just swallow and you're like, the nervousness and the sweatiness and the anxiety just kind of goes whoop like that. So I didn't know what to do. So I kind of just froze and I did this breathing technique as I was walking up to the stage, and I think I shook the hand of the guy who was getting the award. And afterwards I asked a few of the people, did it seem like I was really nervous, like I was really like anxious? And they just looked at me like, no, like you seem totally fine. And it's funny because like a lot of these things, I think we perceive them way worse than they are externally. But anyway, that's besides the point. I still felt the anxiety. It was real for me, even if other people couldn't notice it. And so during that event, this technique really saved my ass. And speaking about staying calm under pressure, let me take a moment to tell you about this video sponsor, Myota. Myota makes prebiotic supplements specifically formulated to support your gut microbiome. Research shows that gut health directly impacts anxiety levels and stress response. I've been taking their metabolic booster blend for over a year now, and on top of basically fixing my gut pain, bloating, and IBS, it's become part of my overall anxiety management toolkit. If you want to try Myota, I've got an incredible discount code for you. I'll link that in the description along with the video in case you want to watch my journey from start to finish. Now, back to the video. I remember why I bought this hat now. It's actually quite nippy when the sun goes behind the clouds. Let's get to it. This is how you do it. Step 1, breathe in through your nose, keeping your face relaxed for a count of 4. Step 2, hold it for just 1 second. The reason why it's 1 second is that so you don't look weird and so that you don't have to stop talking. Step 3, you exhale for a count of 6 or 8 if you're able to, and you do it in this way so that nobody knows you're doing it, okay? Just with your lips slightly apart. I actually like to put my tongue on the back of my top teeth just to regulate the exhale. So it's kind of like and nobody knows, nobody can tell. And that's pretty much it. Step 4 is you just repeat steps 1 to 3 about 3 or 4 times until you start to feel a little bit calmer, until you start to feel a little bit better. And maybe a bonus tip is you try and work this like throughout the normal conversation, but if you want to make it even easier for yourself, maybe ask somebody or ask multiple people to answer a question. That gives you the breathing space, pun intended, to do it. The magic is in extending your exhale longer than your inhale, because this signals to your nervous system to calm down. So when and where might this technique be useful? Well, if you're at a networking event, super useful. If you were giving a presentation, or maybe you're in a meeting and you know you're going to speak, or maybe you want to say something and you can just quickly do this before you put your hand up and speak. It works really good for awkward silences, potentially on dates. Maybe if there's an awkward silence when you're on the date. I'm trying to think where else I would use. Maybe if it's a confrontation, like you have to speak to somebody about something, it's going to be a difficult conversation. And it could be a family member or a friend or maybe a work colleague. You could do it before you do that. Anyway, this works for me. It's super quick, it's super easy, and it's very practical. And I really hope you don't just watch this video. If you feel that social anxiety creeping in, you try this, test it out on yourself, implement it. And if it works, pop back to this video and let me know. If you're getting a bit tired of confusing and conflicting wellness advice and you're looking for a place which offers real-world, practical techniques which are actually implementable, then you're in the right place. Consider subscribing. I'd love it if you did. Also, I want you to drop down in the comments. I'm not sure if you will. It's kind of a big ask, but I'm just super curious. What's your most awkward or biggest social anxiety moment? Because look, on this channel, we're all in this together, so perhaps we could help each other out. And YouTube thinks you might like this video next, right in front of my face. So I'll see you over there. Ciao for now.